What's going on, HCL fans? It's Gordon Sine here, coach of your Washington Archons, bringing you the Week 1 recap podcast. And I am joined by jdsmall, Kanget, and the Czar. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Alright. So, our first battle of the league was between Ursa and Bowser. Now, Bowser was a new coach this season. And funny little thing here is Silvally and Type Null both get brought, and then both of their Rotoms get brought as well. So kind of a little interesting thing there. But early on, during this battle, I felt Ursa was playing fairly well, but was really struggling breaking that Type Null. And the biggest thing that could have broken that Type Null ends up getting flinched by Skarmory by an Iron Head, which ends up costing Ursa's a chance of a sweep with an Ursa Ring. So yeah, thoughts. So what were your thoughts on the battle, guys?
Generally, very interesting.
I feel like there's two ways to break that Type Null, and neither of them were ever presented a great way of doing so, with both the Heracross and Ursa Ring being able to do so.
Yeah. Definitely very interesting on Bowser's part. You could see like unconventional sets. You don't usually see Rest Sleep talk a whole lot on Type Null, or really mainly not really a lot of things, because you sacrifice 2 moves and Rest. Your opponent knows you're guaranteed just turns asleep, so it's a very risky move. Later pans out for him. One thing that's definitely interesting is the sleep talk toxic on the set, which in my opinion, if the thing's already toxic, you have a chance of just wasting. You have a 2 in 3 chance of just wasting your turn of sleep talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the issue always with Rest Sleep Talk, is you always have at least a 1 in 3 chance of wasting your turn.
Yeah.
But then with this set there's that
basically
2 in 3 chance, which is a really huge chance when you think about it. It's a 6% chance that you aren't doing anything. You're setup fodder at that point.
Yeah. That it was risky, obviously, but it worked out. And then Mega Lopunny was such a good bring as well, because there just wasn't much to counter it.
Yeah. And nice unconventional set.
Oh yeah.
Also something is that I'm actually kind of surprised at the point that +2 Silvally didn't kill the Spiritomb. Like, I get Spiritomb is bulky and all, but the fact that it didn't kill there was more of an impressive thing, because it's +2.
Mm-hmm.
Citrus Berry is a bit weird on the Spiritomb.
Citrus Berry is also really weird, because usually when you see it, it's a pain splitting mon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the Lopunny set. Oh, go ahead, Kanget.
Oh, sorry. And also the fact that you brought a tricking Autumn Wash.
Wasn't it a trick Rotom Heat? I thought I could have sworn that.
No, it was a trick Rotom Wash.
Wait, who was the one that used Trick? Because what got Scarf?
Rotom Wash.
Oh.
It was.
Oh no,
that was Specs.
Oh, Specs. That's right.
It was a Specs tricking Rotom Wash, which was a really interesting set to bring against this team, because it partly stopped Rotom Wash's ability to tank, because it couldn't reliably click Pain Split until it got off the trick.
Yeah.
Right.
I think another good bring on Bowser's part was the Encore on Mega Lopunny, obviously forcing Heracross into clicking Rest, allowing Bowser just to basically play the rest of the game pretty safely and just kill what was left in front of him.
Yeah. I mean, there was a little bit of RNG there, which was sad to see in a battle. Like, I'd rather see skilled plays over RNG, but with the Iron Head flinch, I feel like that cost the game. Was one of the major players in the game against Ursa.
Yeah, it definitely.
I don't know. I'm just
weakened
looking
our
at Mega
system.
Lopunny right here, and it's picking up. Like it's doing so much work for Bowser. Makes you think if the Iron Head would have mattered really in the end or not.
Yeah, that's very true. Megalopunny put in so much work, and just with that, and then the Silvally just being such a big wall, there just really wasn't much Ursa could
You
do.
mean type null.
Or yeah, type null rather.
But also, he had a lot of ways of stalling out recovery on this. He had disable on Spiritomb and Encore on that Mega Lopunny, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was one of the stronger wins for the newcomers at least. I was
Definitely.
I was quite shocked by the fact that Bowser played so well after how long he was saying he was going to suck and probably not win a single game. But Bowser played really strong and is off to a good start. All right, so moving on to our second battle, we had Colin versus Rozzy, two returning coaches going head to head, and just looking at these teams, it looked like it could have went either way from the start. But as we see early on, Rozzy really just not playing the best he could be. First off, he goes into Miss Magus on a Greninja turn 2. And
yeah.
then sets up a nasty plot, thinking somehow he's going to live something. I'm not quite sure.
See,
Two of something.
Miss Magus is pretty bulky, but against
The Greninja.
yeah,
Who
against the
has-
Greninja,
Who could have
wasn't
had
a good
Stab
choice.
Dark Pulse? Let's be clear.
he
It
could have
used
Stab Dark
Hydro
Pulse, but
Punch.
he's still living,
Yeah.
even with Stab Dark Pulse.
Yeah, but it kills him too for sure.
Then
But the
Yeah,
biggest weird thing for me was the fact that he didn't go straight to Conkeldurr after that.
he did.
Yeah, he
Who
did.
was
He did.
ruining that thing? Huh?
No, he goes into Conk right after Miss.
After he lost his Magus.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yes.
on to Volcanion, who's also could have stayed in there pretty safely against that thing.
Yeah, I just don't think it could have fired
wasn't
back.
doing much to Volcanion.
I don't think it could have fired back though. I think that was the issue. I don't think.
To a point,
also-
yeah, but there's Greninja isn't that bulky in the first place.
One of the issue I really have is him going into Conkeldurr and clicking Drain Punch. Just because in
Yeah,
front of
with
him
that-
was a Greninja, and what's coming in
Thunder
on a
Punch.
fighting type move, it's going to be a Thunder Punch. Or a Drain Punch. No, what's coming in on a fighting type move is a Jellicent.
That's right.
The move was Drain Punch. And,
Yeah. It was
So
a
he's
kind
like
of
a thunder.
readable. It was a really easily readable move.
yeah.
That was just a huge.
Because then we
part of
see
that
next
match.
turn, Rozzy gets tricked with a Choice Scarf and is running Thunder Punch. So if he clicked Thunder Punch predicting the switch, it would have put Colin in a way worse position. It actually didn't even have to be predicting the switch because it still would have hit Greninja for super effective damage.
Correct.
It just
Definitely. It was just one misplay after another in this
yeah,
battle.
and then it gets scarfed, and at that point, he still clicks Thunder Punch, and the Dawn fan comes in pretty obvious.
One thing I don't particularly get about Rozzy was he later revealed that he has Mach Punch on the thing. So like,
already
they have Drain Punch.
I don't have a LinkedIn, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why he just
instead of
doesn't click
Drain
Mach Punch.
Punching-
Yeah, the Greninja's faster.
Because at that point, if you're scarfed, if you're forced to be scarfed, doesn't really matter. You're gonna click Drain Punch, even if you didn't originally bring it. But also, another thing I loved about this set was the fact that there was a special Komodo sitting here.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Interesting little thing that I just found funny was the Dawn fan set. I just find it funny that it's packing sturdy, and Draco just didn't do enough to proc it. It left it at 1%, but not 1 HP. So sturdy doesn't proc, yet it's still kind of sitting there at 1%.
No, I'm pretty sure Sturdy only procs if it would have killed. So I think it
Yeah,
actually
no, that's
looks
my
at your own
point. That's
HP.
what's funny
No,
is it lives.
No, that's not how it works. If Sturdy hits it down to 1%, it's gonna proc or not. That just means Colin. If this was like, if Colin could see HP, he'd be like 2 out of 100, not 1 out of 100.
Yeah, just a little
That's still
funny
pretty
situation.
funny.
But then Rozzy goes into Scarf Conk, and Donphan just ice shards and gets Poison Jab. So that was a fair play. Poison Jab obviously being the most threatening move that he could click. Greninja at this point still sitting somewhat healthily, but doesn't really want to take any moves from a Conkeldurr.
See,
Jellicent sitting pretty low. Komodo just would rather not get poisoned. And
okay, and here's another thing. So with that, he's clicking Poison Jab, and he's scarfed into that, and then the Altaria comes in,
well,
and
Colin
he switches.
Yeah, well, Colin does say he was couched to live a poison jab, and that might have been why. Rozzy might have thought, well, Conk is still my win con and wanted to preserve that, so I can kind of understand that.
But to a point, it might have been better to have that ability to free swap him. That's just my 2 cents on it.
I guess Komodo, though, being special, really put in work because Steelix got one shot by that Focus Blast. And then they're just... And at that point, it was just an uphill battle for Rozzy. Nothing he really could do. Now, this was an interesting play here. Was after Volcanion goes down, Conkeldurr comes in, and it is now Scarfed. Komodo isn't the fastest thing alive. Now, I'm not sure if a Scarf Conk would outspeed a Komodo.
Probably not.
Probably.
Depends on the speed EVs.
It depends on the EVs. So I guess I get the Mach Punch play, but at that point, Rozzy wasn't in a position where he could really win by clicking Scarf Mach Punch. His only real win con was clicking Scarf Poison Jab and hoping he outsped. And we see he goes for the Mach Punch, which unfortunately it does kill Komodo, but now does nothing to Altaria. And at this point, Conk goes down, and it's just up to Nidoqueen, who actually does pick up a kill because Colin, instead of preserving differential, just goes, "Hey, I think I can kill it," without actually checking, and dies to Nidoqueen. And then Colin wins with the solid 3-0. Could have been a 4-0, definitely, but
Definitely could have been.
But yeah, Rozzy just needs to play a little less predictably, I think, is the overall takeaway from this battle.
Like, his thing was that he did try to play unpredictably by swapping it against a super effective move, and then had nothing to counter it if that mon decided to stay in.
Yeah. It was rough. It was a rough battle for Rozzy. I'm sure he'll bounce back. Last season, obviously, he went on that tear at the end, winning every game he possibly could to try and bounce back. So.
Oh, he better not bounce back next week because he's facing me. I know.
So, going back to some new coaches to the league, we have Flapjack in this next battle against Golem. Now, Golem obviously looking for redemption this season after finishing last season, but doesn't really get the start he needs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gives the absolute opposite
Yeah.
of what he needs.
Getting 6-0'd is really rough. Flapjack, though, did play well, but I'd say both players played a bit too predictably. The Lando and Smeargle leads, for instance, were both very predictable leads. I don't know. But then, obviously, Flapjack goes into Mega Sableye, and that's going to just wall Golem's team pretty hard.
Yeah, that was a huge part of this, is that Golem misplayed and couldn't keep this Mega Sableye from doing its job of walling. He didn't have a solid wall breaker, which is what's always really needed against a
Not really. He had the superior, and if I was him, I would have seen that is just calm minding up. I would have just went into the superior or the ante, which are two wall breakers,
Mm-hmm.
and deal with it. And if the Sableye just gets too out of hand, that's when you bring in the red card with the fortress. And
Yeah, like when this thing gets up to +5, +6, then you bring in then you bring that thing in.
Well,
But also, you have the really predictable play of rapid spinning on the every time that the Smeargle came out. It was always clicking rapid spin.
The other thing I really did not understand was why on turn 13 he goes into Alakazam when he just switches right back out the next turn. It made no sense. He's like, all right, I want to go Alakazam. Wait, no, Superior, and it allows Sableye to get free Calm Mind off.
I mean, so the thing with Alakazam is that Alakazam can two-shot maybe even one-shot a Sableye with that if it packs Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, but it switched out immediately.
But he switches out immediately, which is, honestly, if he had clicked Dazzling Gleam that turn, that Sableye would have been forced out because Sableye doesn't appreciate Dazzling Gleams.
Yeah, another big.
I don't care if it's I don't care if it's +1 Spadef.
Yeah, another big issue was him missing the Leaf Storm, obviously, when he was behind sub, because he would have gotten up to +2 and outsped, and so it would have been, basically, Sableye at this point was +2 Spadef, Superior would have been at +2 special attack, so it would have nullified any boosts, and it would have been able to do massive damage the next turn. However, it does miss, and so it only does 22%.
So, and then another thing is that if you like looking at his team, he did not pack almost any moves to take care of this thing. Because while the Entei is out, it choices itself into Stomping Tantrum, which seems like a really bad move here. Like, was he not packing Sacred Fire? Because Sacred Fire did heavy work against this entire team.
Yeah. Even if he went into Lando, Lando does not appreciate.
No, Lando hates the Sacred Fire because Sacred Fire has that 50% chance to burn.
Yeah.
Why would you lock yourself into something that Lando is immune to?
Well, Lando is asleep, so it wouldn't have gotten the burn on the Lando, but no, that makes total.
Lando wakes up.
Still, it's not a good play. It's still not a good play to go Stamping Tantrum. But yeah, there was.
And then also the fact that the Lopunny and the Smeargle, both. Like, the Smeargle is more of an understandable one, but the Lopunny had nothing that wasn't binding or normal.
Mm.
So, kind of can't touch the Sableye.
Half of this team could, and then the Forestress so it's not hitting anything hard.
Yeah.
This is just my little feedback to Golem is, when you're building a team and you see an obvious wall, have moves across your entire team and a few mons that you know can dedicatedly break that wall.
Yeah, definitely. I think, though, going forward, Golem is going to have a slightly easier time with that. He just picked up Crawdaunt, Diggersby, and Aromatisse. So 3 things that are really going to help out his team from where it is right now.
But what did he drop for them?
Lopunny, regular Beedrill, and something else and Sock. So it was a huge up.
Yeah, no, that's all 3 huge improvements then.
Yeah, he didn't have a fairy type, didn't have a water type. I don't think he had a ground
those are all
type.
huge improvements.
Yeah, he had a lot of free points remaining. So I think Golem can definitely bounce back, but Flapjack is looking quite scary. However, we'll see how he plays because I do think he played a little predictably. That's my only thing about Flapjack is I think he played a little predictably. His team is really good though, so we'll see how he does going forward. Next battle here though is me versus Alyssa, and going into this, I felt kind of bad in all honesty because I was the one that convinced Alyssa to join the league, and then I was talking to her about how I'm gonna help her out because last season I mentored Cog a lot and helped him out. I'm still helping Cog out, but like this season, it was gonna be like Alyssa was gonna be the new Cog in the sense of me helping and teaching them the way of how to do things, and then schedule comes out and I'm battling Alyssa week 1 because that's how things happen. So felt kind of bad going into this battle, and turn 1 I felt even worse because I get the fire punch burn when she goes for sub, completely killing her Togedemaru. I felt so bad. But yeah, this whole battle, it was kind of like, it was uphill battle, obviously, for Alyssa. Playing in her first ever league match without somebody to help that really knows what they're doing, and then also having to play somebody that really knows what they're doing is just, it's tough.
It's a very tough thing, and she didn't completely make mistakes. Like, there was actually a few really good plays that she made.
Yeah, she definitely had the mons, but just there wasn't enough experience to really break what I brought.
Correct. Like let's just say the Toad Kiss versus Scuffle.
Beware.
Which is like it was packing Continental Crunch, which is really good tech, but it didn't make sure that sub was staying out of the business for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into this battle. It was a 4-0. Alyssa lost, but Alyssa's bouncing back. I'm telling you right now, Alyssa's bouncing back. I can guarantee you she will get a win within the next 3 weeks. Guarantee it's happening.
I will keep you up to that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I will.
I'm guaranteeing.
I'll be watching that.
Within 3 weeks, Alyssa will have a win. She will, even if it's 1-3, she will have a win. But yeah, she really didn't have much to break, especially Necrozma. Necrozma was just a hard wall to this team except Blacephalon, but I had so much to counter Blacephalon that it didn't end well. For a win though, obviously starting off strong for my season.
Like Sneasel.
Yes.
That was another.
That's fair.
It was another mistake, but we can all see why it was made, because usually when you see an unevolved Mon, it goes unevolved, but slap an Eviolite on it.
Yeah, but Sneasel has that option of running things other than an Eviolite, which is very nice. So yeah, again, all things Alyssa is going to learn throughout the season and get better at. Again, calling it now. She is winning a game within the next 3 games. But we're gonna move on to one of the craziest battles, Czar versus Mike. Speaking of Czar is now muted in call. All right. Well, Czar, we're at your battle if you can hear me. Anyway, it's Czar versus Mike, and yeah, starting this battle off, Mike played solid. He really showed why he was the defending champ with his plays early on, just constantly making the right reads, like going into the Jirachi on the Rose raid and just other things like that. It's just very impressive play from Mike. Lots of things working in his favor with that Scald Burn on the Seth Rogen, which was the Golurk. There we go. I was looking at the nickname, couldn't figure out the name of the Pokemon. And then the Leaf Storm on Miltank was just Czar, buddy.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're talking about you hitting Leaf Storm on the Miltank.
Listen, my whole reason why I did that is listen, I have an Infernape. I have a Kieran Black. You're telling me I'm not going to expect that thing to run thick fat?
Okay.
I just totally expect it to run thick fat. Not in a million years I would. And I understand why he did it. He did it because of Celesteela.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but
speaking of Celesteela, you then go into Celesteela and it just loses health for just endlessly. It was very, very weird position, and Mike eventually puts you in a position where you are down 4-6.
Well, what Celesteela is, I always forget that there's no timer in League battles. I was literally clicking air slash just to like give myself some time to think on what to do.
Fair enough.
And looking back, it's just like, why did I just let my Celesteela go below half health?
Yeah, but then you lose Rose Raid due to Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, and you send in Sharpedo. Now Mike, with the set he had, could have lived any attack from a regular Sharpedo. And so in order to threaten this thing into either Mega-ing and not getting any speed boost, or to protect, kill the next turn in Mega the next turn, he should have stayed in and just clicked Hyper Voice 2 turns in a row. However, Mike miscalced. He calced how much damage a regular Sharpedo would do against Raikou instead of Mega, and because of that, your protect fails on the switch, allowing you to protect again and get to +2 speed, allowing you to be faster than that Scarf Jirachi.
Everything.
And that Scarf Jirachi, which could have revenge killed you if you were only at +1. And at that point, Sharpedo does what Mega Sharpedo does. It sweeps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokemon. And Czar gets
Mega
the
Sharpedo
4-win.
is, you know, we were talking. I know you were saying like, yeah, if Mega Sharpedo does this more than like 2 times, there might be a chance he's banned from next season.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was,
just because
the thing is, at the same point, Mike didn't have like a different counter if that Sharpedo got up to +2. Like, he didn't have a sash, he didn't have anything like that. But
That's
then
fair.
again, that spike stopped almost everything.
Yeah.
Also, a fair point on the Sharpedo. If people just allow it, it's I don't know. The thing about banning Mega Sharpedo is I feel like that's kind of a little bit uncalled for. Because if anything, like if you allow anything to set up too much, like for example, like Golem did Mega Sableye, it just sweep, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, he had nothing that could touch that Mega Sableye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharpedo, Mega Sharpedo is the only issue I
I'm
have.
surprised he
with
didn't
it
have any
is-
priority like Mach Punch on the Flygon.
Well,
strongest Mach Punch.
Flygon isn't known for running Mach Punch. Most of his team isn't known for running good priority stab moves.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any good priority stab moves left on his
Again.
entire team.
Mike,
No, but
not too.
I mean, it's
happy
also
with-
Mike. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You think he'd like run like a check just in case something got out of hand, like Mega Sharpedo.
Yeah. But again, he,
Yeah, but at
He
the same
could have
point,
dealt
his
with
check
it,
was Jirachi. He just didn't. He just wasn't expecting it to get up to +2.
Yeah. That switch killed him. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the next battle. One of the most intense and even battles, in a sense, even though there were a few things that Valor wasn't too happy about, but we'll get into that.
Which is
But-
Valor versus
Valor leads Vikavolt, and I find this to be a little bit of a flaw. With the one flaw I have with this battle is the fact that he leads Vikavolt. It's just this thing could have put in so much work in late game.
late game.
Yep. And like, I don't know, sending it out early, it did work and got a kill on Halucha, which was huge for him.
It
But
got a kill on Halucha, and it also nerfed the
Weavile, it put it down to its sash, but like that thing could have cleaned up late game. I don't know.
And also the fact that he was running a special Victini is a little bit weird to me because Victini has an amazing physical side that would have done a lot of work against this team.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's also 100 in every stat, you know. So
Yeah, like it can run both sides. I just feel like the physical side could have done just a little bit more work.
I disagree honestly, because just looking at this team, the special move pool just made more sense for what Valor had to counter. That's just my thought. Now, interesting thing here was the Gengar, because the Gengar gets Scald Burned and has Life Orb. So it's only got one move left. And now, Valor's predicting a switch into Magnezone, I guess. Although I don't understand why he would expect that. Because he does just die to the next hit, and Evan knows that. Like his next move, it just dies, and Evan knows that. So instead of going into anything Gengar could hit with the two moves revealed being Thunderbolt and Focus Blast, Evan's best play was just to go Meowstic and wall this thing and let it die. Instead of going for Thunderbolt or Focus Blast, or even a Shadow Ball, which would have been the best option because it would have hit pretty much everything. It would have just been a stab move to hit everything. It would have been the most solid play. And instead he goes for Focus Blast on Meowstic, which is resisted, and goes down. So that's my only issue really with Valor's play this game, besides leading Vikavolt. But again, that I can understand, because Zygarde was a Dragon Dance set, so it was supposed to be the late game sweeper, so it makes sense to me. Evan, though, packing that Reflect, which really helped out, and then getting that crit with Psychic as well was huge, since Valor was Life Orb. It put him down pretty low, and was not able to kill Mantine, letting Zygarde then go down to that Life Orb. However, Mantine really wasn't able to deal too much with Registeel, so Evan goes into Magnezone expecting to trap it with its ability, but Valor reveals he's packing that Earthquake. And goodbye, Magnezone. Mm-hmm. Now, then Beedrill comes out, and Valor knows that there's no real need to preserve Registeel at this point, and he just goes for the Thunder Wave to slow Beedrill down, and now he's just free to go into Victini and click the win button against Beedrill. Then reset his choice item by going into Slowking, letting that thing die to the Mantine, and then going back into Victini and winning. So Valor.
What choice item was he?
I think he was Scarf.
Specs, or maybe
he was
Specs or Scarf.
It was one of the other.
Either Specs or Scarf, but
I forget which. But either way, Valor, knowing what his win con was, playing to his win con, solid win for Valor. Our next battle was between this one, the Cog battle. One of my favorites.
She was here.
Oh my god, the Cog battle. So
the Cog.
Cog's Chatot is a god. Let's just leave it at that. So early in the game, Cog got some lucky. I wouldn't say hacks. He just got lucky because it was a coin flip. Because Ensolar goes into Ditto and is now speed tied since Cog is also running Scarf Chatot. But yeah, there's there's a speed tie here, and if Cog loses the speed tie, he's dead. He's just straight up dead. Lucky for Cog, he wins the speed tie and kills it, so Cog's okay. But the Garchomp then gets that Swords Dance and kills with Tectonic Rage against that Milotic. Cog does go back into Chatot though, and it scares out that Garchomp because I guess Evan just assumed it was Scarf HP Ice. He goes into Ferrothorn and gets Chattered, which was Cog's only real thing that he could do to that +2 Garchomp. But yeah, Cog played pretty solid then for the next few turns. But Mandibuzz just having the better prep with being able to live a Flare Blitz from a +1 Megazard and killing with Foul Play. So,
yep.
And then at that point, Cog was kind of at a point where it was a very much an uphill battle. Not impossible, though. But it was a very much an uphill battle. Now Cog does eventually get lucky. Once he gets down to 2 Pokemon, being Coco and Chatot, he does get lucky because on a switch, into Salazzle, it gets paralyzed by discharge. And because it was Scarf, it would have outsped Coco and Chatot. But instead, it gets paralyzed, losing speed and going down to Coco. And at this point, Cog is now just free to click the HP Ice with Coco. Go down to Garchomp and send in Chatot, his only Mon, 1v4. And there was a chance it could kill everything with Boom Burst. It was a chance. It kills Ferrothorn, and then here comes Medi. Now, the issue I have with this set of the Medi is that it has no priority moves. And because of that, there was 18...
could have probably killed.
Yeah, it would fake out and bullet punch, or just fake out, or even just bullet punch. Any of those things probably would have killed. And because it didn't have that, it came down to an 18% chance, which Cog ended up getting in his favor. He got that chance, and Boom Burst kills Medi, and then sweeps the rest of Ensolar's team. Down goes Mandibuzz, and down goes
He
Garchomp.
didn't have Bullet Punch because he has Crabominable and Tapu Koko, two things that don't really take a Bullet Punch that well.
Yeah.
I mean, Coco can take one, but yeah, it's not taking it well.
He doesn't like it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a neutral hit. Same thing with Crabominable. They're both neutral hits. Fake out, I'm surprised about.
Yeah, definitely.
Now the next battle.
Next battle, we had JD versus Somnia. So JD, you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let me open it real quick. Alright, Somnia's not here, but I generally know his whole thing on the thing. And Kanget, you are echoing.
Meh.
Alright, 1 second. I'm waiting for the load. Alright, so going into this battle, me and Sonya pretty much predicted 5 out of 6 for each team. I thought he'd bring Darmanitan, which he says he was going back and forth on. I personally think Darmanitan would have been a lot better for my team. Instead of Tornadus, I brought Chandelure, which he predicted. So, getting to the battle, there we go. Getting to the battle, I pretty much just pivot a lot. Just at the beginning, gaining, in my opinion, just a lot of momentum.
Yeah, you having U-turn on 3 Mons was very helpful.
And Volt Switch.
Oh yeah, and Volt Switch, that's right. You had 4 pivot Mons.
Yeah, and I took out the Zepstrika, which meant nothing could stop my pivots. Which is pretty good. I don't know. We're not really up to, like, I don't know, in my opinion, the thing that probably just cost me from possibly just 6-0ing him. Which we will get here in a minute. Yeah, there's the Freeze Dry. That was switch out and do the Gyarados. U-turn. Went to the Galvantula. I don't know why I went to the Galvantula.
The biggest issue I have, really, or one of the biggest issues is the play on turn 14, where Alolan Ninetales comes in and you go for the Sticky Web. Because
I wasn't thinking all the way through. If I just stopped for a minute and thought, I would have realized, like, it doesn't really... He obviously has Dragon Dance on the Gyarados, so even if he Mega Evolves, switches out, and then switches back in, he can just easily get that speed back. And I already calced one of my things to be faster than his Shaman. I don't... In hindsight, I shouldn't have done that, because then he wouldn't have got the Roar Veil out, and then he wouldn't, like...
Yeah, that would have been huge, because Aurora Veil just would not have existed for this battle, and that actually just comes into play here, because this Moonblast against the Latios, which is one of the things that threatened Finny, actually, because of Psychic, is able to just eat these Moonblasts, because it just sits behind that Aurora Veil.
Yeah, because I calced it, and he has to be running... He's not running Special Bulk, because he sent me his sets. I would I have it to where what was it? I think I one-shot his Mega Gyarados with the Moonblast, and I think I one-shot his Latios with the Moonblast. Unless they're running Special Bulk, which neither of them did. And so
that Aurora Veil kind of it. that is where everything starts going downhill, and then the other issue.
One thing I was hoping for is that he was taking so long with the Gyarados and Latios play. If he went Gyarados, I think I would have won there.
Yeah, I think the other thing is you still had Mega Scizor, and you switched it in on one turn into a Surf, and it killed. And I think at that point you were kind of in a position where your biggest threat to his 3 remaining Mons besides Empoleon was now dead, because it killed Shaman, it killed Latios, and it killed
because my U-turn also one shots both. Like looking at sets, I would have one shotted both of them with U-turn. His Gyarados and his Latios.
Gyarados would have been able to get an Intimidate off, but yeah.
No, assuming he's Mega Evolved.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, and then he's just able to get that Dragon Dance up with Gyarados and win the game from there.
I don't know. This battle has something with a lot of my battles. I do well pretty at the beginning, and then I get a little shaky, and either I turn it around or I lose, and it just was unfortunate that I couldn't pick up back up the momentum I had.
Yeah, definitely. I think this was one of the more back and forth battles, and one of the battles with the most head scratches as to, wait, why is this taking
because there's a
so
couple
long?
of his plays. There's a couple of his plays where I just didn't understand, like the just the beginning where he's just letting me just get off a bunch of chip on him, and he doesn't have rocks up, so I'm not taking any chip from all these that I'm taking.
Yeah, there were some questions to be had.
So in like him just sacking off his Obstrika, just let me. He didn't bring any ground types. Pretty much let me with 4 my mons pivot as much as I want. So.
For sure, but
I was very confused because I thought he was just going to predict me a lot at the beginning, and I was just. Yeah. I remember saying to myself, "Is he really letting me just do all this?"
Yeah. Somnia though does make the right plays and ends up winning in the end. Moving on to our 9th of the 10 matches, we have Fish versus Gator, and this much reminds me of the Gator v Cog battle from last season, where Gator just never had control in the battle, and there's nothing that represents that better than turn 1 losing Buzzwall to the Azelf. Life Orb Azelf, the first of many Life Orbs to be seen this battle.
Oh yeah.
And then there wasn't much that Gator could do at that point. It was a very uphill battle for the rest of the game, and he got off damage like with the Surf Life Orb Cloyster, but at the end of the day that didn't really pay off for him because T-Tar still lived. That's the second Life Orb, by the way. Nihilego also having Life Orb, then gets revealed with that Power Gem on the Azelf switch.
Yeah. Looking at this battle, Fish obviously wins. And there's nothing too spectacular or like amazing about Fish's plays. It's just he didn't make any bad plays.
Yeah.
Like there's probably some times where he could have made maybe better ones, but the play he ended up doing didn't really cost him anything.
Exactly.
I think it was just a matter of just
Although, can we talk about the best play of this battle?
Oh yeah. The mind games.
Yes, bringing Calm Mind, Weakness Policy on Driftblim. Make it too big of a threat.
Because that's 3 moves. Did he just have like Shadow Ball or something?
Probably. It made it too big of a threat for Gator not to attack, so then just goes for Destiny Bond. And down goes the Driftblim, and down goes Mega Aggron in one hit.
I mean, it's probably one of the more ingenious things that, like, probably the one thing that Fish, like, did really well, because I don't think Gator was expecting that at all. You know, because if you just stop for a think about it, you realize, oh, he just has Shadow Ball, which I doubt is going to kill me, especially if he's specially defensive bulk invested, and then just out comes that Destiny Bond.
Another weird play I found was the fact that he goes he goes into Gudra and clicks sub when Excadrill just destroys the sub with an earthquake, and so the sub just goes down, and it really and then T-Tar rather, and T-Tar kills with an earthquake. The sub just goes down, and then Gator hits with a focus blast, but the same exact thing would have happened the previous turn if he just clicked focus blast. He just cost himself 25% more health. Not to say that Gator was in a situation where he could win the battle, but I think he would have been at 29 HP instead of 4 versus the Excadrill, which, to
be fair on Gator, he did say it's been a couple days since he looked at his sets, and I feel like if maybe he looked over them a bit more, he would have realized, maybe I shouldn't have Life Orb, because I don't think we saw the item on the Buzzwole, but I'd probably bet my best hat that probably Life Orb. But yeah.
Yeah, no, just rough battle for Gator. 3-0 for Fish. Fish showing his dominance already. Gator will bounce back, though. It's Gator. Gator's going to bounce back. Going into our final game, our longest game.
That is Mick. Oh, gosh.
Mick versus Kanget. Now, this battle lasts 30 turns of normal battling, and then 100 turns of stall. No lie, the battle went on for 129 turns.
Yeah. I mean, this is really rough.
Mick started off really strong though.
Oh yeah, definitely. He you could tell, Mick wasn't a clear dominator, obviously because of the end, but you could see Mick had, if you want to play percentages, it was 65 to 45 or something around there, 65-35, where Kanget had a chance. Yeah, but Mick was just clearly on just the higher end.
Turn 2 and 3 just shows how dominant Mick started off. He goes for Earthquake turn 2 on a Kartana switch. If Kanget goes into Hydreigon, why do I always combine those two? If he goes into Hydreigon there, Levitate. If he's running Levitate, is that the
Hydreigon only gets Levitate?
Oh, all right. I figured it would get more than Levitate, but never mind. All right.
You'd think so, but nah.
Intimidate or Moxie or something, Yeah,
you think it'd get a better ability, but no, it just has Levitate.
Yeah, and so that would have been the play there, but instead he goes Kartana, losing half health, and now obviously it's going to scare out Seismitoad. Seismitoad doesn't want to stay in on a Leaf Blade, but the obvious play for Mick is to go into Venusaur, and that's what Mick does, and Kanget just does not predict it. Kanget just goes for the obvious Leaf Blade, Mick eats it, scaring out Kartana, and now Blissey comes in, and there's some toxic...
I mean, I feel like his answer to the Leaf Blade was a Fable, where it's doing decent damage, but it's when it's that obvious where it's 4 times resisted, you either switch, double switch, or go for something better.
Yeah. No, I totally feel that. But yeah, there were some really, really predictable plays and I wouldn't even say predictable plays, but more just Kanget not predicting plays rather.
Right.
And then going for the Draco Meteor when Clefable was just free to come in as well. Early on, Mick just making so many great plays, and Mick showing that he is a mixed Lucario as well, revealing the close combat and the vacuum wave. For later on, for Kanget to then go into Mega Diancie, not expecting the bullet punch. It's a Lucario. It's gonna bullet punch at some point. It's, So Mick gets a 5-3 lead early, and eventually it becomes a 5-2 lead. But then once it hits that 5-2 lead,
just cue the music. It's just
everything happens for 100 turns. Mick loses 5 Pokemon over the course of 100 turns.
One things I would like to add is I think it was very unfortunate. Obviously, Mick couldn't have when Mick lost his Venusaur, he obviously didn't think much of it because what's this gonna do? But him losing the Venusaur was really big because that's just absorbing the toxic spikes. That's just also another wall to outwall his stuff. Possible Leech Seed.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. It walled both walls.
very
Mega Venusaur walls both walls on this team, and that was
it's very unfortunate. A lot of people are giving Kanget shit for this battle, but I think it's just it's a clear demonstration of playing stall extremely well. There's a bunch of times where Kanget fucked this battle completely up, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something I've always said is when you're actually facing someone good like Mick, who can probably knows how to counter stall. If you're not a good stall player, you're gonna lose. And unfortunately for Mick, being at least a decent stall player.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all our week 1 battles, so thank you guys for joining me here.
Yeah, and I think it's just me left.
I don't know. I think
Unfortunately,
Kanget's not talking. Czar, I don't know, keeps hopping in and out of calls. I don't know. I dragged him back in and then he went back to general.
yeah, he could do something.
I
think he has too much background noise.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea what's happening. But yeah, the next podcast should be a little more organized than this one.
Yeah.
God damn my mic.
Oh, there's
damn.
Kanget. But yeah, the next one, we should have more coaches. We actually had to re-record because my mic on OBS completely shit itself last time. But yeah, so thank you everybody for listening, and thank you guys who decided to come out and re-record. To all the coaches who didn't decide to re-record, thanks for this help. Not really. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for contributing the first time and everything, and we will see you week 2. Bye, guys.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.